The Dalai Lama says, when you talk, you're only repeating what you already know. Listening lets you learn what you don't know. The truth is, you don't have all those answers or all the knowledge that exists in the world. Your team members may give you insights or present challenges or make comments that you would never have considered unless you listened intently to what they had to say. Listening keeps you humble and helps you grow. It builds connection, those social bonds that bind us as humans. Listening is the greatest gift you can give another. At work, it's the number one way to coach for peak performance. Ask questions to extend listening further. Ask for clarity or to build ideas, and then listen to what they have to say. The way you ask questions is with curiosity. Open-ended questions work best. Use what instead of why. Why puts people on the defensive immediately, so I recommend using what instead. Ask questions to Here's an example. I was working in HR mediating a conflict between a manager and her employee. The manager felt the employee was not committed and insisted she be in the office every day. The employee felt slighted, as if she wasn't doing her job well enough so that she needed more oversight by being in the office every day. I sat the two of them together in the same room and started asking curious, open-ended what questions. To the manager, what was your expectation regarding the tasks and the timing of the work? To the employee, I asked about the nature of the work and what she saw as the deadlines. It turns out it was a miscommunication between the two of them, and it was resolved by asking open-ended questions with curiosity and listening to what they had to say. Here's an example. I was working in HR mediating a conflict between. We all have strengths and weaknesses. As an HR professional, I have seen people spend way too much time trying to improve weaknesses as opposed to accentuating strengths. Challenge for peak performance by having your team members focus on their strengths. Here's an example. We were launching a charitable initiative and formed a steering committee. It quickly became apparent that each member had her own strengths. One was artistic, so we had her design the website. Another was a communicator, so she sent out the email blasts. A third was resourceful, so we asked her to prepare the collateral and get it ready for all the meetings. You get the idea. We got peak performance from this steering committee by having them focus on their strengths. Stretch your team members not by asking them to improve their weaknesses, by having them maximize their strengths. We all have strengths and weaknesses. As an HR professional, I have seen people spend way too much. The best coaches acknowledge when a person does something well. When you focus on the achievement instead of the person, individual contribution gets lost. So the order of operations is important. Start with the acknowledgement, then the achievement. The result is that you lift up the person and you make them eager to try new things, to stretch themselves a little bit further next time. One time I was working in project management and I had a young grad with a graphic design background. I asked her to look at my presentations with fresh eyes. I ended up with presentations more visually appealing that were more easily understood by my clients. In the end, I acknowledged her design talent and it made her feel validated. And then I spoke about her achievement and applauded it. The result was better designed presentations. Moving forward, she was eager to participate more. No carrot or stick required. To get peak performance, coaches don't hold their employees accountable. Employees do. Here's why. If you dangle a carrot or clutch a stick, then the employee always needs external motivation in order to get something done. The real shift is moving someone from extrinsic to intrinsic motivation. That is self-propelled. Over time, intrinsic motivation is a much healthier view of accountability because the employee owns his or her success. Your role as a coach becomes asking them how they want to be held accountable. For instance, let's say you've assigned a project to Peter. Ask Peter how he wants to provide you with updates. This simple phrasing shifts the onus to Peter and helps gently move him from extrinsic to intrinsic motivation. Then you as a coach assume your proper role as a partner, not a parent.